The room was bathed in a faint golden glow, sunlight gently spilling through the cracks in the curtains. As the morning crept in slowly, Wine lay curled beneath her blanket, just rising and falling steadily in sleep. Her brows twitched slightly, her lips parting just slightly as she stirred, lost in a strange and vivid dream. In the dream, Wine wandered aimlessly through a lavish shopping mall, a place so vast and opulent it almost felt unreal. The chandeliers sparkled above like falling stars, while the polished marble beneath her heels reflected the softened golden lights from overhead. She wore a warm toned trench coat that fluttered gently around her legs as she walked, but what truly stood out were the glasses. Brown, delicate, old fashioned, they still lightly on her nose, but the word through them had changed entirely. She blinked once, then again. Hovering above each passerby's head were glowing floating red lines. Thin, almost invisible, if not for the way they pulsed like veins of light. Above a teenage boy's head, too, a woman in a business suit, for a middle aged man walking hand in hand with his wife, 7. She stopped walking, her brows furrowing beneath the strange frames. Is this some kind of counter? What does it mean? Her gaze flitted across the crowd, more numbers. Some people had one, others had more, a few had none at all, but many, far too many, had glowing clusters of lines that seemed to multiply and twist above their heads like tangled wires. Are these body counts? Like how many people I have been with? No, that can be. That's insane. Glasses don't show this kind of thing. I'm just dreaming, obviously. Yet, despite the logic in her head, the visuals wouldn't disappear. The numbers hovered permanent, judging every person she passed carried a secret on full display, and she was the only one who could see it. A shiver crawled down her spine. So many lines on so many people. How do they live with this? Do they even know how visible their past is? Would they care? Why am I seeing this? He walked faster, unable to stop herself, her heart now pounding with some inexplicable dread. She didn't know what she was searching for until her eyes locked on a familiar figure. He stood near the glass railing on the second floor, gazing down at the lower level, phone in hand. Her boyfriend, Mine's steps slowed, her breath catching in her throat. Okay, his number won't be bad. We have only been together. He said he was different. Maybe it will just be one. Maybe. But then she saw it. A chaotic storm of red lines hovered above his head. Not five, not 10, too many to count. The red glows waved like wild fireflies, layered and overlapping in suffocating amounts. Her stomach dropped. No, no, this isn't real. He said he promised. I was supposed to be the only one. I trusted him. The mall seemed to tilt, the crowd blurring her vision, channeling as the horrifying sight refused to fade. He lied to me. All this time, he lied. Suddenly, her voice erupted into a scream, and she woke up. Her chest heaved as if she had been running for miles. Sweat clung to her forehead, her hands shaking slightly as she sat up in bed, eyes wide and disoriented. Her breaths were shallow and panicked, each inhale catching in her throat. The room was silent still. Her gaze fell to her side table, and there, sitting neatly, were the same round glasses from the dream. Her throat tightened as she reached out with hesitant fingers, picking them up with a shaky grip. It was just a dream wine. It wasn't real. That's not possible. She stared at the glasses a little longer before exhaling slowly, trying to calm the storm in her chest. Her phone alarm burst suddenly, snapping her out of her thoughts. She jumped slightly, then glanced at the screen. 11:30 a.m. Shopping with Jiwoo. I totally forgot I'm getting late. She tossed the blanket off and hurried out of bed. Rushing into the bathroom, warm water streamed down her body as she tried to shake off the strange tension still clinging to her skin. After the shower, she dried herself briskly, the scent of her floral body mist filling the air. Her hands moved on instinct as she combed through her damp hair, pulling it into a low ponytail, light foundation, a touch of gloss, and a dab of perfume. Just enough, she stepped into her room again, checking herself in the mirror. Outfit cute, face fresh. Then she spotted the glasses once more. After a moment of hesitation, she picked them up again, pausing as she studied their shape. Stop overthinking, it was just a stupid dream. She slid them onto her nose anyway, grabbed her phone and purse, and headed out the door. Still, a strange feeling lingered, like the line between dream and reality wasn't so clear anymore. The mall buzzed with life, colorful store displays flashed behind glass walls, and the scent of roasted coffee mingled with warm pretzel dough wafted through the air. One walked slowly along the marble floor, her heels clicking in a steady rhythm. She adjusted her round glasses, the same ones from the dream, hoping the unsettling feeling in her chest would fade. But then she saw it. Floating, pulsing red lines, just like in her dream. Wine stopped in her tracks, her lips parting slightly above the heads of the strangers around her. Red strokes flickered softly, numbers etched in invisible ink that only her glasses could decipher. Two lines above a woman in a pink sweater, four above a businessman walking hurriedly with his phone. Even a teenage boy had a single glowing mark. She ripped the glasses off, her breath catching. Instantly nothing, no numbers, no lines, just people oblivious and normal. She placed them back on, The red lines returned. Oh God, is this real? Her hand trembled as she clutched the strap of her purse. Her eyes scanned everyone, unable to stop herself. Her gaze turned into curiosity, then discomfort, and slowly into dread. What if this is some kind of truth revealing lens? Why me? Why now? Suddenly, a pair of arms wrapped around her from behind, snapping her out of her daze. Wine flinched and turned. Jiwoo giggled completely, unaware of the chaos unraveling in her best friend's mind. But above Jiwoo's head floated two soft red lines. Wine froze. Even Jiwoo looped her arm around Wine's and smiled brightly. You okay? You look pale. Wine forced a note, voice barely stable. Yeah, just didn't sleep well. Why didn't she ever tell me? But who confesses these things to their friends? Still, it stings. As they moved through the mall, picking outfits, chatting about little things, Wine couldn't bring herself to laugh like usual. Her mind was clouded with a strange way of knowing. Jiwoo asked once why she was so quiet. Wine made up some lame excuse about cramps and waved it off. After a few more stores and some bubble tea, they parted ways with a hug. Text me when you reach and smiled at me. One smiled weakly. Yeah, will do. Back at her apartment, the city outside had already turned gold from the setting sun. She tossed her bag aside and collapsed on the couch, rubbing her temples. Yes, then her phone buzzed. You home, princess? Her heart skipped. The mafia king, her boyfriend, flirty, dangerous, and charming in the most wicked way. The man who teased her daily just to see her pout, the man who claimed her like his own property. One smiled as she tapped. Yes, she got back. Not even a minute later, the doorbell rang. She frowned in confusion, heart leaping into her throat already. She wasn't wearing the glasses, but her hand moved toward them. Trembling, she slipped them back on. I trust him, I do, but the way he keeps making me jealous on purpose, the way he laughs when girls flirt with him just to annoy me. I need to see just once. She clutched the doorknob, whispering under her breath. Jungkook, I trust you. I swear I do. And I know you have never done anything wrong because I never did either. The door creaked open and there he stood. Tall, broad shouldered, dressed in all black, sleeves rolled up to reveal his vein forearms, tattoos peeking beneath. His hair was slicked back messily, his silver ring glinting as he shoved his phone into his pocket. His eyes immediately locked onto hers. Missed me already? Once breath hissed, she looked above his head. Nothing. No lines, no red glows, just clean, empty air. A soft gasp escaped her lips, and before she knew it, her smile bloomed like sunshine. She reached out, grabbed his wrist, and pulled him inside with sudden excitement. Come with me, just for a second. Jungkook raised a brow as she dragged him to the mirror. Babe, what's gotten into you? She stood beside him and stared at the reflection. Still nothing above his head. Her chest swelled with quiet relief. Jungkook, now looking at her strangely, tilted his head. You sure you're okay? You're smiling like a psycho. You let out a laugh, loud, unfiltered, goofy. She couldn't stop. I'm perfectly okay. All right, let me check. He stepped closer and placed a warm hand over her forehead, pretending to be serious. No fever, just wine being adorable and weird as usual. Wine burst out laughing again and without a word hugged him tightly, arms wrapping around his torso. Jungkook blinked in surprise, then smirked, his voice lowering into that flirty tone. Why the sudden love attack, huh? Can't a love will like this? Oh no, I didn't mean that. Do it more. I'm starving for your attention. She laughed, hugging him even tighter. It's true, you attract what you are. If you're loyal, your person will be too. Jungkook, you really are mine. Just don't cry in front of me when I start demanding kisses for every second you ignored me today. You are unbelievable, but lovable. Wine stood near the mirror, still in a daze from what she had seen, or rather, what she hadn't. No lines. Her heart still flooded with relief, a strange kind of comfort pooling deep inside her chest. Jungkook turned to face her, his dark eyes scanning her expression. Okay, you're acting suspiciously sweet. What did you break? Wine turned to him with a shy smile, arms folded behind her. Nothing. Jungkook took a slow step toward her, then another, until he was standing dangerously close. So close she could feel his breath on her cheek. Then why are you looking at me like you just found out I'm your soulmate or something? She bit her lower lip to hide the smile pretending to spread wider. Maybe I did. Jungkook's brows quaked, amusement flickering in his eyes as he tilted his head. Is that so? Should I be flattered or terrified? Terrified, definitely. He chuckled, then suddenly leaned in, his forehead brushing against hers. You know, when you look at me like that, I start thinking of doing things. Wine blinked, caught off guard by the shift in his tone, her heart began racing. What things? Jungkook smirked devilishly, brushing a stray strand of hair from her cheek, like pulling you close and reminding you that you're mine, that you don't get to look at anyone else the way you look at me. Wine's breath hissed as he leaned in even closer, his hand gently wrapping around her waist and pulling her toward him, her palms standing against his chest, feeling the steady thump of his heartbeat beneath his shirt. Why does he always make me feel like this, like I'm the center of his whole world, even when he's teasing me? Jungkook looked down at her lips, his voice dropping a no slower. What? Got nothing to say now, Angel? You talk too much. You love it. He pressed a feather light kiss to her forehead, soft, slow, and almost reverent. Then his lips brushed down to her cheek. Wine closed her eyes. Jungkook paused, then pulled back just enough to look into her eyes. I know, and I don't take it lightly. His tone had shifted, no longer playful but sincere. His hand rose to cup her cheek, thumb brushing the soft curve as he studied her expression. I might joke a lot, flirt too much, but when it comes to you, I don't play wine. She smiled and leaned into his touch, her hand finding its way to the side of his neck. That's why I trust you, good, because you're stuck with me, glasses girl. Wine laughed softly and wrapped her arms around him, resting her head on his chest again, and in that moment everything felt right. No red lines, no lies, no doubts, just them.